trying to reassess his life.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of F1 Fanatics. Today we're going to look at Piastri again. This story, many times we say it, it never gets old. Since Monza, Piastri has plummeted. He was leading by 100 points in Zandvoort, and now he is 26 points behind. He was 100 points of Verstappen. Now I think he's about 20-something points ahead of Verstappen, and he's 26 points behind Norris. So we know that this second half of the season, he has not driven well. It's not just psychological problems. He's had some technical problems with that car. I don't know what the reason for that is. I think part of it might be his psyche. So we want to look at an interview they had with him where he finally admitted that things started going bad in Monza. Then he had a bad weekend in Singapore. And Singapore, I think he crashed in qualifying and then had an issue. Was it always in Monza? No, I think it was Singapore. He crashed in qualifying. Or was it Baku? He crashed in qualifying. And during the race, he had a crash out. And he said that during all of this period, it still was in the back of his mind what happened in Baku. That contradicts what not Baku, what happened in Monza. That contradicts what he said earlier. Earlier, when he switched places with Norris, he said that he was under the impression that that was part of racing and he shouldn't have had to switch places over a pit stop mistake by Norris's team. But nonetheless, he said it wasn't a big deal because it was only 6 points. I bet you he would want those 6 points back now. But he's not admitting that in the back of his mind, that was troubling him a little bit. He didn't say that's why he's driving badly. He took ownership and said he's just not driving well and he doesn't know what the problem is. But he did mention that. And I think it's clear that when he did that, and we said it, when he switched places with Norris to give Norris a place after Norris's team had a bad pit stop, that undermined him because I think at that moment he just realized how much that team is invested in Norris and not him. He'll try to say that it doesn't affect him, that he's stoic, but I think that since that happened, he's not been the same. And then the week after that in Singapore, Norris hit him at the start of the race, final race, and got in advance and passed him. And he said, well, I guess we're supposed to switch places, right? And the team said no. I think that doubly compounded it. And I think that what's happening is that Piastri is not as detached, or he's not as able to compartmentalize as much as we want. I think a lot of his driving is bad now because he allowed the team to basically make him bitch himself there. And I think that was where his downfall came, in conjunction with the fact that he also does have technical problems on these types of tracks. He did better early in the year on high-speed tracks where his V style of driving, like Verstappen, does better. So that's one of the things. But I think it's a psychological problem where he's now going through a mental block. What do you think, Kunle?
Yeah, I think but I think that he's making a lot of issue about what happened at the Sao Paulo ring with the 10-point penalty that he got hit with after his collision with Antonelli.
Yeah, that's a string of events that goes back to Monza. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So because that's where he finished fifth and Norris won and they extended the championship and it's a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem for him. I feel that he's a long shot now. I even feel that Verstappen's got a better chance of winning.
Yeah, and Verstappen may come second. Verstappen may come second or first. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Piastri is. I mean, he himself is openly admitted that he's having issues with his form, and Norris seems to have picked up some kind of form himself at the very same time. Verstappen hasn't been able to take advantage of Piastri's failings. Norris has just simply managed to take advantage of his opponent, and this shows that Piastri's biggest weakness has been his mental strength. It's sort of like when you're a young guy and you're toasting a babe and you don't really have confidence. She likes you, but you don't really have confidence. And before you finish toasting her, somebody else comes and toasts her and takes her away from you. And that's basically what's happened to Piastri and Norris and the championship.
But you know what's funny,
the championship was for Norris to take. And
but what's funny is that we had the other. Everybody, I was like, wow, Piastri is another sinner. He's a cold-blooded motherfucker. This guy is unruffed. So it's weird because everybody had painted him as Mr. Cool. Kind of find out he's just an undercover. What's the word I would use?
That pivotal moment for me. That pivotal moment when Norris and Piastri switch places. It's sort of like you've toasted your babe. You're not dancing without the dance floor. Then Norris comes and says, "Excuse me, may I have this dance?" And you're like, "Okay, no problem. Come and dance with my girl that I've been toasting." And then he's like, "Yeah, give her back to me." No.
So there's two ways you react through that. If it had been me, right, with what I know now, this is what you do. You say, oh, that motherfucker just took my shit. Never again. At that moment, he should have gone rogue at that moment and disconnected emotionally from the team and become totally shit selfless. But he kept on coming for press conference afterwards saying, I trust the team. So it's like, not only did you take your babe, no problem, take your babe, but what you do next week is, okay, I'm going to find out whoever he's going to, and I'm going to make a move on them whether they agree or not. You get my point? He was supposed to go.
Yeah, he should have just told them, back off, wise guy. She's mine.
Or slap himself and say, okay, he got me this week and it took me out by surprise, but never again will it happen. And I'm telling you, if it were me, I'm not lying to you, I would let Verstappen win the championship. By the next time I'm beside Norris, I'm going to make both of us crash out. Since I know I'm not going to win, that's what I would do. I'm serious.
Yeah,
because you have to be nasty. Go ahead.
What would have Piastri lost if he refused to switch places and he just won? What would he have lost?
Nothing. The team might shout at him. What else can they do?
They might shout at him, but they'll be shouting, hey, but you want shot, you want some. So, and it's less to lose and it's more to gain if he just
that's why I'm surprised at him, because I thought he was not only did I think he was cold-blooded, I thought that he was very, very logical and didn't let other people influence his behavior and didn't care what other people think about him. I thought he was like that.
It's not to think, what kind of person is he? Is he a person that is just a pushover and lets people walk all over him? Or is he a person that has now learned from his mistake and is now going to be a badass?
I don't think he's learned from his mistake, because in the press conference...
Then he's a bitch.
Yeah, he's a bitch. I hate to say it. In the press conference at Brazil, he even doubled down and said, yes, Stella is right. I haven't been using the car properly. It has nothing to do with the car. We know that. I'm not saying it's favoritism. He has a different car from Norris, because here's the thing. The McLaren car uses mechanical front grip to give it downforce in the front. It doesn't use the wings. It uses front grip. And because of that, it's difficult to handle sometimes, because there's an imbalance between how much grip it has in the front and the back. So the back is a little bit looser. That was affecting Norris. Norris asked for the front suspension geometry, which somehow gives you feedback. It's almost like a driving aid. Piastri refused to get it. So all Piastri has to come out and say is that clearly we don't have the same car. Maybe he can even say, maybe it's my fault for rejecting the front suspension. But for him to say, oh, it's just me, it's my driving, it's like he's doubled down upon. So what I think Piastri is that he's cold. What I mean by cold is that he doesn't get emotional. He doesn't get emotional, but that doesn't mean you're a psychopath. What it means is, there's a word, what's that word they call Saturnine? Or saturnine. Some people who just don't react. Just because you don't react doesn't mean you're a badass. If you don't react, for example, if we wake up in the morning and they say, no, yeah, it's time to do your homework, you'd be like, oh yeah, homework. just because you're cold-blooded, or they're coming to kill us. Oh yeah, they're coming to kill us. It doesn't mean you're a smart person. It just means you're slow. That motherfucker is slow.
Yeah, but you know the kind of prick that I think Norris is. Norris will make, once it's mathematically impossible for Piastri to catch him up, He'll now ask him in some point, one of the last 1 or 2 pointless races, oh, Ricardo, would you like to overtake and take your place back?
Oh, yeah, he'll do that.
He'll begin with a slow clap.
But
he would happily, but he won't allow that to happen whilst the stakes are up. But once it's mathematically impossible for Norris to get caught by Piastri, if Piastri wants to swap places with him, he will allow it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person. But Verstappen would never allow it, whether the stakes are high or not. He would never allow it. But Norris would. Norris would, because he's just that kind of petty little fake little shit. I just know he wants to be liked by everyone.
It's a disservice to F1 for Norris to win this championship this year. It's a disservice, to be honest with you. It makes my stomach turn over. It makes me want to vomit.
Vomit with rage.
No, that is some bullshit. It's some bullshit, and there's no excuse for this. Piastri was leading Verstappen by 104 points. Now Verstappen, but you know what they said? Since the break, Verstappen has outscored both Piastri and Norris. He's outscored everybody by a wide margin. And you know what's funny? Even if Verstappen loses this year, he's actually the star of the year. Unbelievable driving of what he's had. But yeah, so I think we can agree that Piastri. I think he's been exposed. I don't think he is who we thought he was, because he hasn't stood up for himself all season. He hasn't stood up for himself. So I think what it is that Piastri, once again, I did some study on him. He's a dutiful person. his parents brought him up nicely. He opens the door for old ladies when they get in the car and stuff like that, and he follows rules. That's not a good combination. Even though he's cold-blooded, he's a cold-blooded person who follows rules. That's not a good combination, you know.
Yeah, you remember Back to the Future, Marty McFly's dad.
Marty McFly,
and he was eventually
Biff would be like, Marty, do my fucking homework for me, Marty.
We were always hoping that Marty McFly's dad, would eventually be brave. Yeah. And I was hoping that Piastri was like Marty McFly's dad.
Piastri's son will go back to Mazda. Dad, don't do it, Dad. And then he'll walk up to Black Brown and punch Black Brown.
He'd have his fist.
and then 30 years later, you see Piastri win 10 championships because they changed the future. I'm serious. This is some bullshit. That was the perfect metaphor.
You see Norris driving with Bortoletto.
No. Norris becomes a golfer and works as a steward. Norris becomes a steward.
He's in driver 3 in Formula 2.
All right, so this was a good one. So I think we're done for today.